What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me for another one of Hoggie's beer reviews. Today I bring you this beer right here. And if you can't see it, you can't recognize it already, I bring it closer. This is Michelob Irish Red. Michelob Irish Red from the Michelob Brewing Company. Now, let's try that again. Michelob Irish Red from Anheuser-Busch. Before I even get into the beer, let me just give you guys a little history on Michelob and where this all comes from. Michelob used to be just a beer. It used to be Anheuser-Busch, which of course makes Budweiser. It used to be Anheuser-Busch's premium lager. They had Budweiser, and their premium lager was Michelob. Eventually they introduced Michelob Light and Michelob Ultra and Michelob Amberbach. It became a line of beers. And sometime in about 2008, a couple of years ago, I guess seeing the rise in popularity of craft beer and the microbreweries in the U.S., Anheuser-Busch decided to turn Michelob into the craft beer line. They spiffied up all the packaging. As you can see, there's like a color graph here, and the hop tells you about the hops and about the ingredients, little outline of the country that the style of beer comes from. They put work into that. But, they spiffied up the packaging, they set up a website, they started calling it the Michelob Brewing Company, and Michelob now brews about 10-12 different beers, including 4 seasonals. They have the Irish Red, they have a Porter, they have a Dunkelweiss, they have a Honey Wheat, a Ginger Wheat, a Marzen, a Pale Ale, and a few others. They kind of try to turn it into kind of like a Samuel Adams kind of thing where they brew a bunch of different styles. So these came out in about 2008. And that was right around the time I started getting into craft beer. So I've actually had some of these, and some of these beers, some of these Michelob beers are not that bad. Specifically the Dunkelweiss is really good. I might just review that one day if I can find it again. And that's kind of where we're going here with this, because I had this beer when it came out, and I have not seen it on the shelves since. I had it a couple times at first, I liked it, and then when I started doing my website, I wanted to go back and get it again so I could review it, and by then I could not find it anymore. I have not seen this particular beer on the shelves in close to a year, to the point where I thought Anheuser-Busch was kind of giving up on their little Michelob craft beer endeavor. But I guess not, because as of the last week, I have been seeing these on the shelves all over the place. So today I went to the store, and I had to pick up some crackers and some soap, and I saw this, and I said, you know what the hell? Since I've been waiting a year to be able to review this beer, I decided to just do it as my 75th beer review video. So that's where that comes from. And again, I had this a year ago. Take a look at the bottle there. I had this a year ago when it came out. I liked it at the time, but of course my palate has changed so much since that now is the perfect time to try it again, review it, and see exactly what the Michelob Irish Red is all about. And of course on the front here it says Michelob Brewing Company, Michelob Irish Red, all malt ale, an Irish style red ale that blends kiln, two-row, and toasted caramel malts. St. Louis, Missouri. Of course, it's Anheuser-Busch. But anyways, I'm going to crack that open in a minute. Before I do, let me jump on Beer Advocate like I always do. I think I closed the page. There it goes. Beer Advocate categorizes this as an Irish Red Ale at 5.7 ABV. And it receives a B- overall, and that's out of 114 reviews. So, not too bad, but then again, not a lot of people have had it. Now, to drink a Budweiser beer, I break out my Hurricane Wings glass, courtesy of the Hurricane Wings here in Vero Beach. And not because it's Hurricane Wings, even though I love the place, but because on the backside, Budweiser. So what could be more fitting? Now, also, since I've been waiting a year to have this beer again and review it, you can see the cap, nothing special, red cap. Irish Red, but I want to save it, so I break out the lighter, and we'll do it this way. Ooh, and that is quite smoky. All right. Now, like I said, I've had some of these beers, and it's kind of like the Budweiser American Ale. They're not amazing, but they're not your typical Budweiser adjunct lagers. They're beers that have a little more effort and thought put into them. So, you know, even though I don't like supporting Budweiser and, you know, the big three, Bud, Miller, Coors, these beers, considering the price point is about $6, $7 for the 6-pack, I have found to be not bad options when you want flavor and you're short on cash, if you don't mind supporting Budweiser or, you know, Bud, Miller, Coors, whatever. So, pouring this guy in here. You know, and like I was saying, I found some of these beers to be pretty decent, you know, pretty good taste, you know, nice lacing, just more than you'd ever expect from anything made by Anheuser-Busch. So, you know, considering I haven't had this in a year, my palate has changed, hopefully this will live up to those high yet not so high expectations. And just off top looking at this beer, it is clear, it is filtered, and there is a lot of active carbonation in there, but it is a kind of a dark copper, reddish brown color, on par for the style, so that much is right. And the head is, it's not a lot of big bubbles, man. It's very soapy, very foamy, good looking head, about a finger or so worth. And it smells malty. A little bit of caramel, a little bit of toasted malt, and a little bit of that same bubblegummy sweetness that I get from the Budweiser American Ale. If you go back and see the review I did on that, that has this malty sweetness that's almost bubblegummy, and it's cloying and it's overpowering. There's a little bit of that in here. It doesn't smell bad, and it smells about right for the style. And I'm not a huge fan of the style, nor have I had a lot of Irish Reds, but I've had a few. So, I'm going off of that. Now, let me just give it a taste. Considering how much active carbonation there's in there, it's not as carbonated as you would think. It's pretty light. I mean, pretty thin. It's not super thin, but it's thinner than you may want or expect in a malty beer. The malts hit you up front. You get kind of a toasty, roasty kind of thing up front, along with some caramel. The middle is a little more caramel, and the finish is just malty all the way with a bit of kind of a hoppy, herbally bitterness to it that just balances it out. It's not really bitter, it's not really hoppy, there's just a hint of it to kind of give it balance. But this is a malty beer as advertised. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. The head is sticking to the glass. This is probably going to leave some lacing. I mean, you know what? I would expect a little more malt complexity from this. It is still a bit, I don't want to say bland, but this could be so much better. It's still slightly overcarbonated. It's still slightly thin. And there's not enough complexity and richness in the malt, considering how much they sweat. Let's see, I had read it on here. Yeah, the whole thing with this all malt ale, kilned and toasted malts to produce its all natural signature red shade. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a great beer, but considering it's Anheuser-Busch, considering the price points, and considering these people usually make watery adjunct lagers, this is not bad. So I'm going to just leave it at that, guys. This is a glass half full. There's nothing bad about this beer, but it's not great. If you're short on cash, or you just like the style, or you're just, I don't know, a Budweiser fan, I don't know, pick it up. It may surprise you. And I'm sure the same goes for most of the Michelob craft beer attempts. So again, I'll leave it at that. A glass half full for Michelob's Irish Red. Check it out, and thanks for checking me out. Cheers.